Hello guys and welcome back to my predictions. We're going to go through our halfway predictions as we did through a quarter way through the season. We're going through our halfway predictions for the season now, and just going to basically go into everything that there is to talk about. Looking at the current Premier League table, as you can see, Arsenal top, Liverpool second, so on and so on. You know how the Prem looks. This is how the Prem is looking right now. Sad to see my team so far down, but let's get into talking about it. We'll go a review of the predictions that we've made so far, and then a preview of what my predictions might be changing to and what I'm starting to lean towards as we're starting to get more of a feel for the season. But obviously my bias still remain. It's how far they dropped though from since last time. So let's go on to this. Why is that being funny with me? Right, let's get into the predictions. Starting with where the teams have moved from last time. Since the last time I did one of these videos, where have the teams moved? Arsenal moved 2 places up the table to first. Liverpool stayed in second, not really moved. Villa moving up 2 places as well. Spurs staying where they were. And we're taking that big hit from City there, -4. Obviously they've played one less game than the teams above them, but that's not just down to that one less game. They've been on bad form recently. Since the last video, I believe they've got like 5 points, which is crazy in City terms. West Ham jumping up the table, Newcastle staying where they are, United dropping down, Brighton dropping down surprisingly. They kind of been like a bit silent this season, Brighton. There's been no hurrah about them. Chelsea, where they were last time, still in 10th, but now that Nkunku's back, they're looking a bit more vicious. Bournemouth shooting up the table, Brentford dropping down, Palace dropping down, Everton moving up finally after that 10-point deduction that they got just before the last video. And yeah, that's basically what we've gone to. And then this is how it's moved since our first prediction, where you can see that Arsenal are way up higher and Liverpool way up higher than I thought. So the top 4 are all up higher than I thought they would be at this point in the season, and City have dropped well off. The biggest move is from where they were minus wise is both Chelsea and United. I both thought they had a better season than they have so far. So far, not good seasons whatsoever. Obviously the bias side of the United there, but Chelsea really not living up to expectations either. And for a positive outlook, Wolves have really jumped up from where I first predicted them. I thought they'd have a terrible season, but in 11th right now, having a good time. Gary O'Neill was one of the managers that was spoken about for a month, like we've had so far. I think we'll move on to Iraola right now. But I think everyone's had a bit of everyone this year. Like we've gone, oh yeah, we like De Zerbi, oh like Emre. O'Neill was up there for a bit as well with he's gonna have a good year. And then from my I'm moving the wrong one there. I don't want to do that. From my second predictions that we made in the last prediction video, you can see there's not as many changes, but obviously I still got United dropping down because the bias was still there. Even Bournemouth shooting well up from where I predicted them last time. Sheffield sitting where they are, and Brighton sitting where I had predicted. I think that's fair, Newcastle also sitting where I have got them predicted now, but West Ham really shooting out of nowhere, and City just dropping out of nowhere. It's stuff you can't expect. But yeah, that is what happened in the last predictions. That's my review of how my predictions have gone so far. I don't think it's too terrible. It's hard to predict the Premier League season, but I think I'm doing a roughly okay job. I've got 3 bang on right now. As you can see, I've got my correct scores and correct results here as well. Only 18 out of the 82 have been absolutely correct scores. And I've dropped down below at less than a 50% prediction right. Obviously in the last video it was over 50%, and now it's just dropped. These Christmas months have caught me a bit. But let's get on to the quick predictions. Right, starting with, this is my predictions of just going off my head of how the vibes are going. Let's talk about it. Sheffield, Burnley, Forest now making up my bottom 3. I think Forest have dropped off. They've been putting a bit of fight recently, but not enough fight. I think they might try and turn things around under Nuno. But at the same time, Luton just keep on finding a way to, they keep on missing out on results by a tiny margin. And I think they're going to click it soon. And they're going to move up. Palace, one of the poorer teams. I think that's your poor 5 right now. Obviously, Forest and Palace, a lot of people have to stay up still, but I think that's the poor 5. That's going to be your bottom 5 this year, guaranteed. Fulham are going to be close to that, and Brentford are going to be fairly close to that, especially if they lose Toner. Wolves, I think, are going to be the... it's weird to describe what Wolves are going to be like. They're going to be like Everton and Bournemouth, really. Or if they're going to have good seasons, but nothing crazy, nothing wild. They're going to put in good performance here and now, putting a bit of a shock, but nothing where they're going to be pushing for a European place. These teams are going to have good seasons. Everton will be pushing for a European place if they didn't have that 10-point deduction, but they do have that 10-point deduction, so they're not really pushing for a European place. And yeah, that is the predictions for the first half of the table. And then for the second half, you're going to see Brighton, West Ham, Chelsea, just taking us to 10, 9, 8, missing out on European places if we don't get the coefficient ranking. I feel that's fair for all three teams really for the season that they're having. No one's having a crazy season there. And then Spurs, Newcastle, and United, and that's me being biased. How crazy is that? Be it 5th, 6th, and 7th getting into European places, but not Champions League. United getting Champions League if, and it's a big if, we do get the coefficient spots, which would be nice. Liverpool in 4th. I feel like City is going to kick on, as they do every year, but I don't think the kick on's going to be enough this year. I think it's going to be down to these two. I honestly think Liverpool are going to lose Salah now, and the attack has scored 2 goals from the actual attack in the Premier League for the past 2 months or something like that, which is crazy when you actually think about it. And then Villa and Arsenal just fighting for it. I think Unai Emery's going to want his revenge. He's going to be fighting all year. I don't think City are going to catch him now. I think it's just down to these two, and that's crazy to say that I think City are out of the title race, because you know what City can do, but I just feel like they are. I just honestly do feel like they are out of that title race now. But however, I have done a longer prediction. That was my quick prediction off my head, and I've done a season prediction where I predict every game as I did last time. Let's go through that, because that's probably where you get my more accurate me talking about the predictions. This is me going through every single result and thinking of how every game is going to end, as I've done in here. Obviously, not the best advertisement there, is it, for what I'm going to be doing? But let's go into it. It adds more to the video next time. Starting with obviously the bottom half of the table: Sheffield, Luton, and Forest finishing the bottom. This time, Forest and Sheffield still going, but Luton have swapped places with Burnley, who are now in 20, 19, 18, 17, 16th, with Palace just missing out on that relegation as well. I do think, as I said, this is the bottom 5. I feel like that has not been decided. Palace and Forest are going to try and fight, but can they fight? We'll wait and see. I think Palace have a better chance of surviving than Forest, but however, next year, when the teams get better, I don't think this Palace side will survive. Brentford and Wolves finishing just above them. Fulham, Everton, and Bournemouth making out the bottom half of the table. Bournemouth, I still feel like will have a good year. Same with Everton. Wolves, I still think are up there. It's hard to break these teams apart really. These 5 here, Fulham, as you've shown recently, can just pull out a 5-0 result if they wanted to, but also can just get hammered. And I think the further they go in these cup competitions, the more that teams can get worn down. As we saw last year, towards the end of the year, when they started to fall down. However, I think this is a fair assessment for the bottom half. The bottom half has stayed the same on both sides. No matter which way I predict it, this is the bottom half of the table. Because I think there is a gap. I think Everton would fill that gap if they didn't have that 10-point deduction. Bournemouth could still fill that gap, but right now I've got Brighton and Chelsea and West Ham. Same 3 teams, just in a different order. Again, missing out on them European places. West Ham still obviously get a chance. Same with Brighton, still get a chance to get Champions League football next year if they get it through the Europa League, which they could still both win. Newcastle, Spurs, and then City. That is a big shocker, I know, but it just happened. It just happened. This is me predicting every game and how I think every game's going to go. And yeah, that's what's happened, guys. That's what's happened. City to go into the Europa League unless they win the Champions League, in which case they'll get Champions League football. Which, leaving it like this, you could see 6 Premier League teams in the Champions League next year, which would be crazy. City drop 1 more point there, and you'll see 7, because Spurs could even get in there. Imagine 7 Premier League teams in the Champions League. That'd be wild. But it's a league now, it's all different. It's going to be 34 teams. I don't know if I'm a fan, we'll wait and see. And then, talking on top 4, United, Liverpool, and Arsenal getting them Champions League spots. Very nice. And then, the shock of the video, I would say, the big one: Aston Villa win the league. Aston Villa win the league. Because if you look at Arsenal's running is really tough, and these play each other right near the end of the season. That can be a vicious game. If Aston Villa can keep it up for the rest of the season, the game that these two have at the end, vicious. But then, the game before the end of the season, Arsenal have to go to Old Trafford. The second last game of the season, Arsenal have got to go to Old Trafford and try and win. And I know United haven't been playing well this season, but that's not an easy game for Arsenal, no matter what the situation is. You know, United can and will probably pull out a result in that game. I guarantee it. That's the prediction. Come crazy. You know, let me know what you think the prediction is going to be. And let me know where you think I'm going wrong, where you think I'm crazy. I'm going to do a team of the season so far as well in a couple of days. But right now, that's my predictions. I hope you enjoyed the video. Comment the hate, whatever you want. Comment the love. You know, Villa fans especially. I mean, come on now. I am obviously still biased in there, but that is the predictions. If you like the video, please leave a like. And if you really like the video, please subscribe. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.